League One. He's powered over the man and scored! Oh, what a claim! And what a try!
Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Eco Power Stadium in Doncaster. It is a beautiful afternoon and we are here for the start of the Betfred League One playoffs. The race for the championship is on. We've got Doncaster versus Oldham for you this afternoon, and alongside me, current Salford Red Devils head coach Paul Rowley. Paul, playoffs, there's just a different feel, isn't there, when you get to this stage of the season? It's always exciting.
Yeah, there is, and you've got to look at Doncaster. They've been in thereabouts now for a couple of years. I watched them in the final last year, so they'll be desperate to. There's a bit of pressure there, isn't there, because of previous history to make it and go that one step further and get the job done. But they're coming up against an Oldham side that there's an air of optimism around the Oldham club. You know, the new takeover. They're playing back at Boundary Park, and they've got some wily old players in there, in particular in that spine area with Ridyard and McNally in particular. So it's going to be an evenly contested game, this, but yeah, it's a massive game.
Yeah, these sides have met 3 times already this season. Doncaster have won all 3, but the biggest winning margin was 6 points. That tells you all you need to know about how evenly matched this is, but does that all go out the window a little bit when you get to these one-off games?
Well, obviously Doncaster will be taking some confidence from that. They've got over the line, you know, they've managed to get the job done, but I guess Oldham, they won't be too disgruntled or too worried about it. Like I said before, they've got some experienced players, they've got a couple of new additions in there, they've been building steadily along the way, so I think it's even Stevens today, to be fair, and I think I've watched the Oldham boys come off the bus there. They've got a bit of swagger about them, so there's a lot to play for, obviously, and yeah, I think it's a tough one to call. I'm not sure I want to put my money on anybody at this point.
Well, it's not quite last chance saloon for these two teams. They will both be in action next week, but the winning team will have an easier route to that promotion final. They'll both be very keen to get the win today, and we've caught up with both head coaches pre-game.
Richard, you appear to have recruited really well ahead of these playoffs. You must be feeling confident going into today's game.
Yeah, look, we had a little bit of a purple patch in the middle of the season, and we knew that we needed to strengthen going into the playoffs anyway. So yeah, some players came available. We managed to get them and bring them into the club, and then they've had a real positive impact in the group.
You've had 3 games already against Oldham this season and won all 3. Is that going to count for anything into today's game?
No, not really. If you look at them games, I think they've been within a score. You know, majority of them, you know, they took a real early lead and a dominant lead against us at their place, but we managed to claw it back in the second half and, you know, just scrape a win down at their ground. So we know that they're real competitive. You know, they've got some really good ball playing middles, some strong middles. So we're going to have to be good in that area. And again, you've got the experience of Ridyard, you know, kicking them around the field and getting them field position.
You personally know all about the playoffs in League One. You guided Doncaster obviously last season, unfortunately lost out in the final. Have you drawn on any experience from last season's playoffs with this current team?
Yeah, certainly. You always do. Again, we probably emotions, you know, settling into the game. And again, it was a close one last year. You know, I think it was within a score of you know, getting the job done, and we just didn't quite do it. You know, Swinton were a fantastic team and throughout across the board, and I thought we competed with them really well. And again, that's all we're going to do this week, is just making sure we're competing, giving ourselves a chance, hopefully taking our opportunities. I thought last week we had a couple of opportunities against Dewsbury, early doors, where we could have, you know, been a little bit further in front and maybe put the game to bed a bit earlier.
Well, Mike, first and foremost, you've been back at Oldham for approximately 6 months. You must be really pleased with the way things have been going.
Yeah, it's been tough at first. We had to get the club on a financial even keel, but the main thing we've tried to do since March is to reconnect with the town. We feel that it's a rugby town, Oldham, a famous rugby town with a lot of history, but for whatever reason, you know, whether it be kids or families or just the normal spectators, have not been going to the rugby. So we've worked very hard on trying to reconnect with the town, and we've got a little bit of momentum in that. Obviously, what we're doing on the field helps as well, but the main thing is that we reconnect with the town.
You talked there about a sleeping giant, and obviously Oldham has got rafts and rafts of potential. Everybody's talked about that in the past. You must be absolutely delighted with the one game you have taken to Boundary Park, 1,300 people for a midweek game against Workington Town. Just how far do you believe you can take Oldham Rugby?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. You have ambitions and to get to the very, very top. I think in the history of rugby league in general, where does Oldham sit? And I would think it's in the top division somewhere. Do you know, I'm not saying at the top of the top, but certainly in the histories of the rugby league, we're in that top division. So if we can get back there, great. I think for me, the legacy that me and the board want to leave is one with a great pathway from the kids from under 11s, obviously earlier than that, but when they come into our system from under 11s straight through to the first team, so that the kids in Oldham want to play for Oldham again. We've got a real hotbed of an amateur league there, and many kids. For example, one club has 250 juniors playing for them, Saddleworth Rangers there. So we have a real hotbed, and I just want kids like me when I was 16. When I actually signed for Wigan, I wanted to actually sign for Oldham, and I want kids to be able to do that again. And we can leave, you know, whatever years it is, 5, 10, 15 years, can have a great pathway with kids wanted to play for Oldham again, know what colours we play in, know where we play. I mean, that'd be success for me. Of course, I want to win every week. Today, we've prepared the best we can, and we'll try and give the best version of ourselves. And we want to win today. We want to get promoted this year. Yeah, but that's not our ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to, like I said earlier, reconnect with the town, get everybody back on board. And if it's going to be successful, Oldham, if this era, if you like, is going to be successful, he'll take everybody in Oldham to be part of it. And we want to try and say, yeah, it's not our club, it's your club. And together we can achieve, we'll be stronger, together we can achieve what we all want to achieve.
And very quickly, just moving on to today's game, obviously you've already faced Doncaster 3 times this season. 3 really close games, only 1 score in each game. How do you see today's game going?
Yeah, it's a little bit different because of the weather. It's quite warm, which is a change from recent weeks. They've recruited quite well with Fanua and Vetti, who are big players. You know, they're playing at home, so they'll be the favourites. I see it as a close game. The beauty, Paul, of these positions that we both finished in, 3rd and 4th, we'll get a second chance. So it's not the be all and end all. Ideally, we want to win and go to Hunslet next week. But if it's not to be, then we'll go through a different route. So we're looking forward to it. Like I said, I think we've prepared the best we can. We've probably got our strongest team out, apart from Josh Johnson, who's suspended. So, yeah, we're in good shape for today.
Well, what an afternoon we have here in Doncaster. Glorious sunshine and a fixture to match playoff rugby league football as Doncaster host Oldham. The race for the championship firmly on. 2 sides who enjoyed strong regular seasons, looking to go that one step further. So the teams this afternoon, starting off with the home side, and Josh Guzdeck starts at fullback with Tom Halliday on the wing, Brad Hay and Mahe Fanua, who of course started the season at Castleford, in the centres, and alongside him, an old warhorse of this level, Missy Tulipapa. In the halves for the Dons, Ben Johnston and Connor Robinson, with Brad Knowles, Greg Burns and Albert Vette making up the front row. Sam Smeaton and Brett Ferris in the second row, and Louis McConnell locking in the pack for the home side. On the bench, plenty of experience, including a World Cup veteran in Watson Boas, Keelan Foster, Alex Holdstock and Matt James complete the 17 for Richard Horn's side this afternoon. For the visitors, Oldham plenty to be optimistic about for them, of course, with the move back to Boundary Park. But this afternoon, they start with Greg McNally at fullback, Nick Rawsthorne, Connor Carr, Cian Morgan and Patrick R. Van make up the three-quarter line. Martin Ridyard and Jordan Parga are the halves, with Dean Meadows, Matty Wilkinson and Luke Nelms forming the front row for the visitors. George Hurst and Zach Baker are in the second row, and Emerson Whittle is the lock forward. Jamie Ellis, Pat Moran, Dom Newton and Callum Cameron will provide reinforcements from the bench for Oldham this afternoon. And alongside me is current Salford Red Devils head coach Paul Rowley-Rolls. This is always exciting this time of year, isn't it? When you get to playoffs, when you get to games like this, those grand finals are in sight, promotion in sight for both of these teams, but a big afternoon here first.
Yeah, absolutely, and you've got a field there. I think the word used throughout that team announcement was experience. It's this pitch is packed with experience that have been here and done it before. But I was chatting to a few of the boys earlier, in particular Ridyard and McNally, who's been on this stage plenty of times, but the hunger and the passion is still burning strong in them. You know, they just want to win. So yeah, it's all to play for. Obviously, it's getting to the business. Well, it is the business end of the season, so the prize is massive. And Doncaster, well, they fell at the final hurdle last year, so they'll be extra motivated. But Oldham, with that air of optimism around their club at the minute, well, you know, you just gotta get the sense that they're on the incline as well. So it's really hard to call this game. They've had some almighty tussles already this year, so I expect this to be absolutely no difference. I think Oldham got a task on their hand in containing this pack of Doncaster. I think that's the strength of Doncaster, is the pack. Experienced, tough, but honest as well. I think they've got a real tough, honest pack. And for Oldham, I think Doncaster's challenge is a little bit different. I think the spine of Oldham, in particular Ridyard and McNally, as I said before, but Wilkinson at 9 and Parga as well. With Ellis there on the bench, they've got a lot of craft, a lot of technicians in there, no way to break a defence down. So I think we'll see contrasting styles, but so it will make for an entertaining game.
And absolutely no excuses this afternoon. We've mentioned that the sunshine is very warm. There's hardly a breath of wind. We've been down and out of look at the surface. There's an absolute carpet. Everything's lining up here for a really good game of football. Yeah,
absolutely. And like you said, it's a beautiful stadium, and there really is. It's set up, isn't it, for open rugby as well. So you know, like I said before, I guess the war of attrition. Who's going to retain the energy? Because we've used that word experience. If we wanted to use it on a slightly different angle, we'd say pretty old teams as well. You know, Missy Papa, I think, leading the way. They're at 41, so they've got some old legs as well as their old heads. So I guess it's going to be quite a sapping day with emotions as well. Who can control that emotion? Who can control that ball and have the lion's share of possession and therefore territory? Will probably go a long way to deciding who's going to win this game. But it's the old adage, isn't it? This time of year, I think the team that can do the fundamentals, the little things at the highest standard for the longest periods of time. It's not rocket science. Big games, and never usually classics in that sense of the word, other than close and nail-biting affairs. So maybe we're in for one of those today. And like I said before, I think who's going to have the stamina to last it out for the full 80 minutes? It might be one right at the death, this one.
Well, we mentioned it earlier on. These teams have met 3 times already this season, twice in the league, once in the Challenge Cup. Doncaster have won all 3, but the highest winning margin, 6 points. So they'll take some confidence from the fact that they've done it 3 times this year, but they certainly won't be overconfident when you look at how close those games have been.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think both teams have evolved throughout the year. They've both had highs and lows. I think Doncaster a few weeks ago had the mini dip, and then they've come back and had a couple of good wins, the latest one being Dewsbury, so that's a real confidence boosting win for Doncaster. So they've coming into this game with on a real high, where Oldham, I guess, is slightly different. They had a bit of a dip. They had a loss in their last game. I think it was against Midlands, was it? Correct me if I'm wrong. So you know, they've got something to fix up there, but again, it adds to the ingredients, doesn't it? They've had a wake-up call, maybe, so it depends how you look at it. But yeah, going back on the previous encounters, there's not been much between the two teams, so I don't think they can get too much significance going into this one. It really is a level playing field, and yeah, it's like I said before, it's difficult to call.
Yeah, you mentioned the last results from the games that these two teams played in. Doncaster, a really impressive 36-26 win against well, the league winners in the end, Dewsbury, contrasting for Oldham, they went down 10 points to 18 to the Midlands. Mike Ford, I'm sure, will have had the videotapes out for this one. They'd have reviewed what went wrong. Clean slate, of course, though, when you get to the playoffs. Yeah, absolutely, and like I said before, sometimes it's a kick in the backside that you need, wake-up call, and you get that extra motivation. But they've a few bodies back as well. How crucial is that going to be? The involvement of Greg McNally, he's been so good for so long at this level, and also Jamie Ellis there as well, just sat on the bench and waiting for his involvement. How crucial will that be? So I guess short kicking game and anything if they get field position and territory. Jamie's one of those who a show and go. He's strong near the line. He's a big half-back, really strong. So yeah, I don't think they'll have dented Oldham too much, but I definitely think Doncaster to come after a win against Dewsbury, a really tough side. There was nobody rested. It was full sides as well. Yeah, they're in good form. Like I said before, right at the start, they'd have to be tough to get that win against Dewsbury. Well, here come the teams. Doncaster out first, the home side. Into the heat here at the Eco Power Stadium. A cracking atmosphere here. Healthy crowd building up on that far side. Don's fans in fine voice, and why shouldn't they be? Come into this game off the back, as we've just mentioned, of that really encouraging win against the eventual league winners, the Dewsbury Rams, who will be joining the Rams in the Betfred Championship next season. We've got another 3 weeks until we find out. Just a reminder, we'll be bringing you one game a week from the Betfred League One playoffs here on the Sportsman, all the way up to the final. Which two teams will be fighting it out in a few weeks' time for a place in the second tier. Oldham just making the Dons wait, staying in the shade for as long as they can. It was a chilled walkout, wasn't it? The Doncaster players, they were no sprinting to fireworks or bursting through paper. It was a leisurely walkout. Very relaxed, but here come the away side, led out by plenty of experience. Martin Ridyard. Of course, Greg McNally in there as well. Patrick Arvan, experienced campaigners. We've said that word a few times already, but it could come in crucial this afternoon. Just a reminder of what's at stake. Both of these teams do have another life in these playoffs, so to speak. Neither of them will go out this afternoon. The winner will go on to play Hunslet for a place in that promotion final. The loser will play the winner of Workington versus North Wales, which is taking place this afternoon as well. You'd much rather be on the winning side, though, wouldn't you, Paul? You'd much rather have that more direct route to the final. Yeah, and like I said, the confidence, the momentum's so big in sport, isn't it? The belief, but there's a nervous edge around this stadium. You can feel it just being here. There's a real nervous edge. So, like I said, both teams came out really casually. Be interesting to see how this start goes. It's a massive start. Well, here's hoping for a classic. Ridyard gets us underway. Deep, booming kick, and it will be Doncaster, the home side, with the first taste of the football. And you mentioned, Paul, earlier about doing the basics right. Completion and just getting in that arm wrestle is going to be so crucial, isn't it, in these first 10-15 minutes? Yeah, and as you can see, the second carry there from Doncaster is a really strong carry straight away. I think it's Brad Knowles who's come on there, just making metres. They're up to 30-40 metres out now on 3 carries, so straight away it's a really positive start from Doncaster. Oldham really need to put their bodies in front and be a little bit more resilient here defensively. As we see again, another 12-metre carry from Doncaster, just churning it up through the forwards there. Well done. So one more tackle in the bag after this one. And they'll be kicking from a fairly useful position here. So this is the last and a first opportunity to have a look at Doncaster's 5th tackle option in a good position. Robinson puts it up high. Fanua gives chase. It's a good take, but a really good follow-up from the Doncaster defence, forcing the goal line dropout. You've got to say Richard on, but delighted with that set. I think it was just, again, it was all one-out carries, but they didn't need to do anything else. They just lined up. They got 12-13 metre carries. They won contact on every occasion. It finished with Vete picking out Wilkinson, getting a quick play of the ball, and then a really disciplined end to the set to force that dropout. So Doncaster earning themselves the potential scoring opportunity early on in this game with that brilliant first set.
One. Move, Dean!
What can they do?
George. Good, mate, well done.
His first taste of good ball. Bete, already a couple of really imposing carries from him.
Two, good.
Sets them up in the middle of the field, and now they come over to the right-hand side.
Three. Move, Greg!
Johnston just feigned to give the pass, decided to keep the ball in his hands, and now they come back over to the left.
Four. Move, Dean! Mine, back foot, mate.
Louis McConnell just settles it under the sticks to come over to this left-hand side again. Robinson looks out wide for Nua. Wrapped up well. Nick Rawsthorne coming off his wing, and he's come away with the ball, and the referee has deemed it was a knock-on.
No, mate.
So a let-off for Oldham early on after a really encouraging start from Doncaster.
Yeah,
and even though they've given up the ball, Paul, they'll be pleased with what they've seen in those first couple of sets.
Absolutely, and it was a warning shot there from Johnson. He's been doing that all his career. That show and go, he's show and go on that right edge for Doncaster, Oldham's left, and then they've come back on a right to left shift, culminating in Fanua there. If he catches that clean and gets his winger away, it should have been a try, to be honest. He'll be disappointed there, Fanua, and he's tried to make up by that by not getting his pass away, by trying to slip an off-board in the tackle, coming up with an error. So Oldham's first chance with the ball, but like I said before, big warning signs for Oldham. The strength of Doncaster carry fantastic.
Yeah, Oldham with the task and are carrying pretty much off their own goal line. Patrick Garvan goes for 7 or 8 metres there. It's a reasonable speed play, the ball as well. And actually, in those early couple of tackles, Oldham will be pretty pleased with the metres they've made.
Absolutely, and a little bit contrasting style, like I said before, a bit more shape. They've gone off Ridyard that time. There was a bit of a shape there, triangle shape, lead backman on the play previous to that. So Oldham trying to manufacture space, whereas Doncaster just absolutely taking it route one. But there's a right to left shift there, straight through the hands now, 3, 4, 5 passes, finishing in McNally. So different way of doing it, but again, made good yards, 60, 70 metres there with that set. Oldham.
So Oldham come all the way back to Ridyard, who hoists the ball up into the air. He'll stick underneath it safely. He carries it back straight away. We're into a really interesting arm wrestle here. Both teams making good metres from the yardage sets. Doncaster obviously had that first looking good ball. Couldn't quite come up with it. But again, big metres made off the first couple of carries. Tulu Papa just finds half a gap, gets himself through it. And a few free yards off the back of it as well. But the ball's come loose. See what the referee decides here.
There's free on.
And he gives a penalty for the strip. And it's in a fairly central position on the 30-metre line. Would you be looking for the 2 here, Paul?
I think I'd put the 2 over, yeah. Just get the scoreboard ticking away. But I'm not sure what Doncaster is. I think they might be just, they're keeping the pressure on. So and I can see why they're doing that, because Oldham first 4 or 5 minutes here have been fragile defensively. Tom Halliday's dented them twice, and then Missy Talets Papa with a 40-metre run there. So very dangerous from Oldham.
Again, Doncaster come up the middle. Johnston and Robinson both shaping to the left of the ruck. It's Robinson with the ball in his hands, lines up Fanua again. Fanua just trying to eat up the space. Think he's made his way over in the corner. The linesman likes it, the referee likes it. And they got it wrong the first time when they came to the left. They didn't need asking again. Mahe Fanua muscling his way over for Doncaster. Early points on the doors for home side. And we just saw that movement to the left. They tried it the first time, it didn't quite come off. They ate up the space, and Fanua strong enough to get himself over. Yeah, again, it's that right to left, isn't it? They get it Fanua a little bit early this time, so they've got a one-on-one. So they've just backed him to beat his opposite man, Connor Carr there, and he's just too strong, so close to the line. But the worrying sign for Oldham is the territory there. They're just conceding too many metres too easily, and Doncaster, well, again, the strength of carry, if we want to put it on a positive from their point of view, has been fantastic. And it's I think it's actually Nick Rawsthorne who gets beat there and gets bumped off from Fanua. So a disappointing start for Oldham, but a really strong and convincing start from Doncaster, in the vein that we said they would have finished off with the Dewsbury game. They'd have to play tough. Well, they've started tough here as well, and that's the difference between the two teams at the minute. Well, we mentioned, of course, that Fanua started this season off in the Betfred Super League with Castleford.
1 minute, Connor.
He's dropped down to League One, but he's obviously still a very dangerous competitor over on that left edge.
No.
Robinson
Well done,
just
lads.
pushes the kick to the right-hand side of the post, so it's just a 4-0 lead. But a really encouraging start for the Dons. So much of that hard work done up the middle. Vete, a couple of big carries, and that break from Missy Tulapapa, just getting him on the front foot and quick play the balls from that point on as well.
Absolutely, and you know, if you're giving the message down there, Richard, on, you're saying stay on the Oldham middle. Absolutely stay on the Oldham middle, whether it be middle, the Doncaster middles or Doncaster outside backs. Get in, churn them up, create some chaos, and then pull a shape there off the half from dummy half, and get it to them edge players, them strong edge players in Fanua there in particular, and Tulapapa, and they'll get the ball over the line.
Ridyard gets us underway again. Somehow they safe underneath it, making a few useful meters, but he's taking a head knock.
Time off.
I think. We're just going to get the doctor on and have a look.
He's got a bit of a crusher there. He's been really strong, hasn't he, from the start there. That was his third carry of the game, and his first two in particular were definitely strong carries and making plenty of meters. But got to give a bit of a rap there to Greg Burns, the hooker for Doncaster on that try. He just got out real well from dummy half. He recognised the short shape, but his timing of his pass to allow Mane Fanua to have enough time on the ball and beat his man was really clever from him.
Well, luckily Halliday looks like he's okay to continue. Big thumbs up from the physio. Just gives his shoulders a bit of a shrug and a stretch.
Both captains, please.
Not far off being ready to go again.
Just because the next time has gone down, I haven't seen it, but we'll let match review. Just
two
put it on
captains,
report,
I think, Smeaton and Ridyard, put it on report.
All right, tackle one. All right, mate.
So one for the match review panel to have a look at.
I'll wait for you. You good, Mark? Tackle one,
luckily,
play it. Go, back on, chin, mate.
Lasting damage to Halliday, and we get underway, and Vete again.
Two.
It's pretty obvious what he's going to do. He's very effective at it, and he's drawing in 2 or 3 tacklers every time. And again, straight away, Doncaster on the front foot. That's a little bit better from Oldham in the ruck, isn't it? Just slightly slower.
Yeah, just getting the bodies in front, like you say, and the line speed just seems to have improved a little bit. You would imagine Mike Ford's been barking them orders out there to man up, be more aggressive defensively, like I say, and around that middle.
So Johnston jumps out from the side of the ruck. Gets his team on the front foot, and his half-pack partner Robinson puts another spiralling kick up there, dealt with well in the end by McNally. And Rawsford takes the carry to try and get his side off on the front foot. Every time Oldham have had the football so far, they've been deep in their own territory. Be looking to just get themselves slightly on top in this arm wrestle here and get themselves some field position. Wilkinson acting half. He shapes out to the left. But again, that Doncaster line speed really good. Look very up for this, don't they, the Dons?
I just think they're dictating everything. I think they're dictating through the D, they're dictating through their attack as well. As we see Oldham, they're looking to pull a shape off a really slow ruck. Doncaster have got line speed. They've got a real appetite to defend. And I think Oldham, these are really bad signs for Oldham. They need to sharpen up and just change the mentality a little bit, because it's a little bit passive in everything that they're doing at the minute.
Well, Guzdeck really safe again under that high bomb, and immediately they shape out to the left-hand side. Tulapapa mentioned his age, he's showing no signs of that here. Already some really strong carries, and now Robinson gives it to Mahe Fanua, ramps in, but he's met well by the Oldham defence. Dean Meadows in the tackle there. Now they come over to this right-hand side. Oldham with options left and right, about 32 metres away from the try line. They come over to the right. Vete brings it to the line and then shifts the pass out to the right-hand side.
Get back! Good for.
They come to the left-hand side. Vete again getting his hands on the ball early in this game. The pass is just slightly behind the man from Robinson. And Oldham with a chance to break away here. Rawsford has real estate in front of him. The covering defence in the end from Johnston is just enough. But Oldham with their best field position of the game, starting this set on the halfway line. And there's space over on this left if they can get it there.
Gone 10. 2.
Doncaster's defence recovers well, but a real opportunity this for Oldham, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the transition really well, didn't they? Nick Rost on it was quick onto that ball, churned up the metres, and then Ridyard again getting in at +1. McNally, the people we spoke about earlier, shipping it right to left as they pull another shape here, left to right, lead back man. try and create them one-on-ones. But Manoa's picked it out pretty easy. It's a one-on-one, very easy to read. So, but good field position now for Oldham. First time of the match.
It's a Ridyard. Shapes back into the middle and drops off to Emerson Whittle. He's brought down about 15 metres shy.
Release, fight.
The referee puts his hand in the air for 5th tackle. So what can Oldham do with their first completed set? It's a drop ball. Disappointing end to a really encouraging period of play for Oldham. And Doncaster now picking possession up again and looking to bring it off the 10-metre line. And a shame the way that set ended for Oldham.
Yeah, and again, it just shows the contrasting styles. Oldham willing to chance their arm on everything, and I think they probably realise they can't go toe-to-toe with Doncaster, a much stronger, more physical side. So it's Ridyard who's trying to run the last play, but his execution is just a little bit off. Passes in front, and just ball goes to ground. So wasted opportunity for Oldham on that occasion.
Well, Tuli Papa again. Every time he's carried, he's made metres. He's been really busy. Really impressive start. And now Brett Ferris will ramp it up to the halfway line. So much Super League experience and international experience, of course, Brett Ferris. And then that's backed up by Alvin Vete. Doncaster just reeling the big taxis off the rank at the moment. And Robinson will stab a kick through to the corner. Happy to give Oldham the ball back. Deep inside their own territory.
Yeah,
it's just a simple game plan, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite interesting though with Doncaster there. They've chose to put the ball in touch when, you know, all our commentary has been all about Doncaster controlling the tempo of the game, the pace of the game, rolling Oldham defensively, and then they choose to put the ball into touch, which, you know, I think they'd have been better just keeping the ball in. Is that a signal of their fatigue? As I said before, there's some experience in there, but there's a lot of old heads, so maybe the tide's starting to turn. We saw a break from Oldham, we saw some field position, and you know, maybe it's time that Ridyard, McNally, this shape start to pay off from a little bit, churn up some metres and test Doncaster.
Larvan takes the carry up over the 20-metre line. And Oldham, what can they do? We've seen them at their first attacking set of the game. Finished with a knock-on. But potentially an opportunity for them here to make some inroads. Just short of the halfway line. They come over to the left with McNally. McNally brings it off to the line and then just plays a short pass. And that's 5th tackle. So Oldham kicking from just inside their own half. Ridyard again just takes it forward. Low stabbing kick. Looking for the corner. It's not going to find touch. Guzdek mops up for Doncaster. He's looked very safe at fullback so far with everything that's come his way. And he'll settle the ball just the other side of the 20-metre line. Halliday, another really strong carry from him. Still going. Couple of steps. In the end, stopped around the 33-metre mark. Tuli Papa, again getting those legs pumping, firing up to the halfway line. Brought down just a metre short. But a really encouraging start to this set for Doncaster. They come over to the left-hand side. Shouts for a forward pass, nothing given. And Vete now bringing up the middle. Looks to pass, keeps the ball in hand. This is the 5th.
Okay, now, Dean.
Come out.
Sorry, mate.
They choose to run it. It's Fanua again in some space. Oh, the idea was right.
Sting on it at Doncaster. I think Oldham now have kind of weathered an early storm, and it's their time to just get some joy, I feel. But we're definitely in that territory where it's set for set. They've settled into the game, if you like. But yeah, it's you know, the winger for Doncaster, Halliday's been fantastic. Tuli Papa's always that second carry. I think if Oldham can start doing some work from marker, it's quite predictable what Doncaster doing, but you have to physically commit to it, and that's the challenge.
Larvan with the carry there, finds his front. Good quick play the ball. And Oldham making inroads up the middle of the field. Wilkinson at dummy half, comes out to the right hand side. Well met in the end. Here's Patrick Moran. And Ridyard just flips it back inside to McNally. Good kick pressure from Doncaster, but Halliday deals with it safely. And he'll get his team up over the 30-metre line.
Good, play on.
Guzdek takes the next carry, and already Doncaster right up on the halfway line. Good metres early on in this set, and a real opportunity here up the right-hand side. The Oldham defence deals with it in the end, but they've got a little bit of a roll on here. Have Doncaster. That's Brad Knowles taking it up the middle, and he'll get a penalty for his troubles.
You were miles off, mate. You were miles off. I shouted Luke, and
again, we spoke about potentially taking the 2. I think on this occasion they're going to go for it.
I shouted Luke, you were miles off, and he got involved.
They elect to go for goal. Why not? Connor Robinson.
I know, but he's on that side, isn't he?
Most goals kicked in this league with 84 this season. Most points scored with 200.
You do.
You'd think this will be reasonably meat and drink for him from here.
Yeah, exactly. It takes him that 6-point buffer, doesn't it? So it's I'm a bit different. I think I'd have run this one. I think fatigue setting in. They've got massive field position. They've looked strong on all the carries, and you know, to get the extra 2, obviously they've already got the 4 in front. I think I'd have kept the foot on the throat at this point personally. But yeah, it's I don't think it'll trouble or bother Oldham too much. A chance for them to get some water, get some breath back in, and go again. It doesn't make much difference to the scoreline.
Well, routine for Connor Robinson, knocking those 2 points over, takes his tally for the season out to 202. Just how important is game management going to be in these conditions this afternoon? Because you mentioned the age of some of these players. It is warm. It's an intense game. It's a playoff. How much big role for the halfbacks on both sides to try and keep their team in control of this?
Yeah, definitely. I think what I've noticed is the Big Tens. The refs are holding a Big Ten there. That was an offside decision there against Oldham. So if you're not winning the ruck and then trying to get back 10 as quick as you can, then that's where the penalties are going to come in. So the discipline's going to, you're going to get tied down with a bit of poor discipline there. But yeah, it's, I think the sting has gone out of the game. I think fatigue has already started to show its head in this game. So yeah, game management from both sets of halves is going to be crucial.
Well, a short kick-off in the end from Rigyard, but not quite short enough for the Oldham players to put it under any kind of pressure. So Doncaster again start the set with reasonable field position. Greg Burns bringing Halliday onto the ball. And again, shouts for forward pass, but nothing given. They're playing a lot of these flat passes at the line. Brad Knowles, a player on that occasion, just punching his way through half a gap. And now they come over to the right-hand side. Johnston decides to keep the ball in hand, cut down. That's a slower play of the ball, and this is 5th tackle. Robinson hoiks it up high into the air again, putting Rawsthorne under some pressure. He does well, but he's instantly met by a welcoming party from Doncaster, who forced the goal line dropout. A really clever, well-executed kick from Connor Robinson.
Yeah, absolutely. And you spoke about game management. Well, that's the perfect example there. But Doncaster just not going off the ruck, are they? They're just going right behind the ruck, in between the marker and the A spot. It's just strong carries, nothing complicated. And Oldham really do need to get a grip of this, because it's too quick and it's too easy for Doncaster at the minute.
We've spent a lot of this first 20 minutes or so looking to our left-hand side. Even when Oldham have had the ball, it's been deep inside their own half, and they've got more defending to do again. And now the offload is made, and Vete with some space to get those legs pumping. He settles just short of the 20-metre line, and they've options left and right. Come over to the left-hand side with Robinson. In the end, decides to just keep the ball in hand, put a little step on. He stopped about 12 metres out.
That's you, you're trapped in! Trapped in!
It's a slower play of the ball. Burns now will play it to the left-hand side. Guzdek looking to just put Ferris through the hole, but really well read in the end by Connor Carr. Cutting the former Huddersfield Giant down. And now Doncaster swing it to the other side. Johnston looks to just duck under a tackle, but the defence is there. 5 or so metres short. Big opportunity then for the home side to add to their lead. Burns comes to the left. Drop-off ball on the inside to Vete. He's got himself over. The referee's just going to have a check with his lines judge, and he's all happy with it. Straight through the middle. Albert Vete with the try. And just as you were talking about, Paul, Very simple, straight down the guts, over the line.
Yeah, there's nothing that's convincing me that Doncaster need to do anything different. Just keep going right up the guts there, like you said. What he has done, Albert Vetty, he must have took about 8 carries already. He's having some fun this afternoon. So what he has done is picked his men out really well. He's made Matty Wilkinson about 3-4 times now, get in front of him and make that tackle well. It's a bit of a mismatch, certainly in that area of the field. So he needed a little bit more help, a little bit more urgency there. In and around him did Matty Wilkinson. So yeah, it's smart play from Doncaster. It's simple, and again we spoke about it, didn't we? Fundamentals, doing them to an high standard for longest periods of times. Well, Doncaster winning that battle at the start of this game.
Well, Richard Horn obviously has done his homework. Mentioned that they're spotting the same players each time, and when they are putting the spread plays on, they're very much targeting this left-hand side.
Yeah, absolutely.
To get right down Conor Carr's throat. With Mahe Fanua on that edge, but it was straight down the middle on this occasion. And Robinson with another routine kick right in front of the post. You'd be very surprised if he doesn't add the 2 here. And the flags go up. And Doncaster go out to a 12-0 lead, 22 minutes into this game. And it's not panic stations yet for Oldham, but there's some work to do here, haven't they, to make sure that they stay in this contest.
Yeah, I mean, the scoreline suggests it's not panic station, but I think it is panic stations. I think they're in a world of pain here, Oldham. I think you spoke about game management there and how good it was there from Connor Robinson. Quite the opposite from Martin Bridger there on the previous restart, going short. They've really struggled for territory and field position, and they try a short kick-off. I think it's a bit of a mindset thing as well. Kick the ball deep and be willing to bend your back and and defend at the right end of the field. So they're not going to be getting any gifts off Doncaster. They're going to have to earn everything here, Oldham. So like I said before, they need a little bit of a mentality change.
Well, Vete fresh from scoring that try. Takes the first carry of the set. Been really impressive in the early stages. Brad Knowles settles the ball 35 metres away from his own line. Burns goes himself, just bumping off a couple of players. Doesn't make a huge amount of meters, but they struggle to get him down, and that's a reasonably quick play the ball. And another strong carry. This is the last. And they come to this left-hand side again, and Robinson, wow, he's put that high. Plenty of spin on it. Rawlsford can't take it cleanly. Fanua tries to knock it back in the end.
No advantage.
McNally has the ball in his hands, but the referee is judging that it's a knock-on from Oldham.
I'd like to see that again. It looked like Fanua got hand to that. I'm not sure where the Oldham knock-on was, but I mean, I guess the simple way to do it is deal with it in the first place and get under it and catch it. But they stood back, they let the ball bounce, and as we just watched the replay, I'm not sure.
Well, I beg your pardon, I've read that wrong. It looked as if the referee was calling that on the side of Doncaster, but it's Oldham have got the ball in their hands.
Yeah, I think he's changed his mind. I think he's had a bit of a good work from the touchy there, who's just fixed him up. Maybe a bit of an helping hand from Greg McNally, giving him a little shout, letting him know his error of his ways, but it was the right call in the end.
So Arvan takes the carry. Nearly pokes his nose through, but he finds his front and gets a quick play of the ball for Wilkinson. And now they come over to the right-hand side immediately, looking to stretch play. George Hurst. He's the man over on this right edge who's cut down. Wilkinson brings it back to the left. Bridgyard with a drop-off ball. This is better from Oldham, just slightly more in control, finding the front, getting those quicker plays. Pat Moran onto the field, plays the ball. Last tackle option goes high in the air. Dealt with well by Guzdeck. And he brings it out to Halliday. Another strong, busy carry from him, getting those legs pumping. The referee's just going to call us back here. Yeah, just play. Bringing Halliday back to the mark, trying to steal a few extra meters there. It's a relatively simple assignment at this point, isn't it, for Doncaster in the last 15 minutes of this first half? They just need to keep completing their sets and stay in control.
Yeah, absolutely. They've, I think they've made 2 errors, and both of them have been within the Oldham 10-metre line. So the discipline's been good, everything's been good. Their execution's been good, other than a couple from Fanuila, but. Yeah, it looks all too easy for Doncaster at the minute.
Well, Matt James is on the field in place of Albert Vete. So fresh legs after a really good stint from the Doncaster middle. This is the last. Johnston just stabs it through, looking for the sideline, doesn't find it, and Arvan will return. Halliday comes off his wing, makes a really good first contact. Johnston's there to help him bring Arvan down. And I think he's hurt himself here. Patrick Arvan gets up and plays the ball. I think he's smarted a little bit. Really big hit from Halliday coming off that edge. So Oldham again spreading the ball wide early on in the set. Ridyard dropping it back off to the inside. Wilkinson now play the ball. Some good meters made up the middle there. But again, 4 tackles into the set, they find themselves still in their own half. Patrick Moran with a strong carry up the middle. He's looked impressive since he's come into the action. This is the last. So they come over to the left-hand side. Parga puts the ball high in the air. Guzdeck underneath it, does well. He's met by 2 Oldham defenders. But a safe end to the set from a Doncaster perspective, and now Halliday will look to bring it up off the line.
Yeah, but it's the best finish that Oldham have had as well. They've put the ball in the right area, in a corner, and they've collected and tackled him as soon as he's caught the ball. So it's what they do next, tackle 2 and tackle 3, that's important. And again, we see Talapapa on that third one. There's a goal. He's won a penalty. Ridyard's had a second bite at the cherry because they're not getting tight enough defensively. They're losing collision and they're trying to rescue the situation after the event with their arms. It's messy. The rucks are messy. And yeah, like I said before, Ridyard's tried to get back in the tackle. And Talapapa, through his strong carries, just won a penalty. Much deserved. The referee's got the call right. So again, straight into Oldham half now. They'll get a tap on the halfway line.
Yeah, a real coach killer that from an Oldham perspective. Just trying to force it, trying to get themselves back into the game. Watson Boas on the field now. Papua New Guinea international. The Doncaster, another player with loads of experience at this level with the Dons.
Okay, cheers, mate.
They're keeping it very much in the middle of the park with Alex Holdstock off the bench. So Boas brings it out to the right-hand side. Johnson just drops his shoulder. Almost through a gap. Cut short by the defence. And now Alex James. Matt James, apologies. Brings it up to the line. Boas comes out to the left. Gets the offload away. Robinson shows, goes. Big gap opens up. Connor Robinson goes in to score, and that was all too easy for the Doncaster halfback. And the problems continue to mount for Oldham.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was George Hurst who took the dummy. You can't slide on your own try line. There was a metre off and sliding. Nobody willing to commit to the tackle. And the little pivot there just showed the big dummy. And again, put the ball down without a hand laid on him. So, yeah, the territory's killing Oldham. It's the early tackles we spoke about earlier. The early tackles are not willing to commit defensively. They're going to put themselves in this sort of territory. And yeah, it was between Hurst and Ridyard. It was who's Ridyard just sliding out there instead of just defending his inside shoulder. So if you're going to review that game, you've got to say Martin Ridyard's got to step inside there and make that tackle along with Hurst.
Big impact off the bench as well. We spoke about the early efforts of Albert Vete, but as Doncaster have rolled through their interchanges in that set, Matt James, Alex Holdstock all making carries. It was Watson Boas who got the offload away that allowed Robinson to make the step and score the try. They've had a real impact, haven't they, with really well-timed interchanges.
Yeah, he's done. Richard Horne's done real good there with his bench. Like you said, you want a bench to come on and make a difference, and it was quite significant, as you say, and evident in that last set that the whole bench had input and significant input. So yeah, it's been too easy though for Doncaster. And when we look at the work that Albert Vete did. All we can remember is his strong carries as the goal kick goes over to increase the lead. I don't remember him having to do much defence, and when you've got a big fella like that in a heat like this, a quick pitch, you really want to be taking some energy out of the tank by making them work defensively. But Oldham, you know, they've not built any pressure, and like I said, it's coming from what they're doing defensively and the lack of willingness to bend the back in the right area of the field.
Yeah, Connor Robinson converting his own try. Jamie Ellis is on the field now for Oldham. Loads of experience right across the rugby league pyramid. They go short again, and it may just pay off for them on this occasion. Van was the man chasing it, couldn't quite get to it. And Halliday mops up. It was Smeaton that was put under a bit of pressure. Doncaster survive. So Boas at the play the ball, brings it out to the left-hand side. Alex Holdstock making himself busy since coming off the bench. Boas again just keeping it tight. Dropping that off to Matt James, who brings us over the halfway line. Really not moving very far out of that middle 10-metre channel, are they, Paul?
No, scrum line to scrum line, just tiring out the Oldham middles. It's passive defensively. They don't have to do anything other than that. They just need to keep the finger on the trigger. As soon as the chaos begins, when there's 3 men in the Oldham tackle, they can't get somebody back. If they're in and around that middle, they're short somewhere, aren't they? So the pivots are just splitting, the fullbacks picking the side, and they're shipping the ball at the right opportunities on the momentum of the ruck speed. So it's really simple game plan from Doncaster, but they're executing it brilliantly at the minute.
Well, I'm not sure that was entirely what Watson Boas was intending with that kick. It's not an awful place to turn the ball over, but then Doncaster concede the penalty. And this is a real opportunity for Oldham now. Piggyback themselves up the field and get themselves potentially into a scoring position.
Yeah, it's Hurst who's just been took above the horizontal. They're only just
over rotation, isn't it?
The rules as they are. It's a penalty, obviously, and like you said, Oldham have got some free territory now, so this is their opportunity.
Well, this is the first time that we've seen Oldham with the ball in Doncaster's half for quite a while, it feels. It's Connor Carr who takes the carry, makes some good metres initially, but met by that really eager Doncaster defensive line. Now Dom Newton stopped just short of the Don's 30-metre line. Ellis gets the ball away. McNally ships it out to the left-hand side, and we're going to go back for a penalty for an off-the-ball tackle. I think it was the hit on Ellis that the referee's taken issue with. There'll be no chance of Oldham taking the 2 points at this stage. 18 points down, 7 minutes left in this first half. But a real opportunity here to just get themselves a foothold in this game before the break, and they go for the corner. Ridyard puts it into touch, and they'll start a full set 10 metres short of the Doncaster line. The first time really that they've had any kind of field position in this first half. This is an opportunity that they absolutely have to make pay, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, it's a huge set, isn't it, to just give them that belief going into the second half that they can just change things around. So and the scoreline's not gone away from them. If they could just get over here and close that scoreline, that gap.
Well, Moran drops the ball off to Newton, and now Wilkinson brings them over to the left-hand side. Moran again. 2 involvements in this set already for him. Now they're shifted over to the right-hand side. Ellis, Ridyard. He looks for Connor Carr. Carr lines his man up, keeps the ball in hand. I think he's over there. Maybe just stopped short. The linesman had a real look at it and decided he hadn't quite done enough to muscle his way over. But still tackles in the set. But they go for the kick. Oh, and Ellis so close to taking that ball with him over the line. He can't quite gather. Crashes into that post protector. And a really dangerous looking kick from Ridyard. But actually,
he's offside, isn't he?
He's ahead of the kick.
Yeah. Oh, he's unlucky there, Jamie. He's just timed his run wrong. It's a great kick from Ridyard. We've seen this before, the two of them working together, the 2 pivots. And Jamie's just collided with the post there, so I'm not sure who'd come off worse, Jamie or the post. But yeah, it was unfortunate from Oldham.
First time we've really seen Oldham put that try line under any kind of duress. Some encouraging signs, almost forced their way over with Connor Carr. Doncaster resolute in defence as they have been for this whole first half, 35 minutes gone. And they've been in complete control so far. As James brings the ball up to the halfway line. And yet again, we're looking at Doncaster on the front foot as Ferris brings it out to the left. Fanua taking 2 defenders with him. In the end, he takes on too much work and he's forced into touch. And maybe just Fanua overplaying and trying to do a little bit too much with the ball.
That's exactly what they've not done all the rest of the half. Richard Horn will be saying why we're doing that, why we're going off the middle. We don't need to do that. And that's the outcome that you get. So, again, a timely lesson for Doncaster. But what I will say is just a little bit of optimism there for Oldham. When they do get down there and attack the Doncaster line, there's enough players in that team to cause issues, and you could see there they were running shapes. Yeah, they got an offside in the end, but they nearly scored the prior tackle. I think, you know what, if they celebrate a little bit hard, I think the ref has a look at that. He wasn't far off. It looked like a try from here, but I think he was just short. But yeah, enough experience, enough wily old heads to do damage if they're willing to defend at that end of the field and earn some real estate, earn some territory.
So Oldham just starting to come on a little bit stronger towards the end of this first half. Jamie Ellis has looked lively straight away since coming into the game, and here he is again. Brings it out to the right-hand side. Moran with the carry. Met by 4 Doncaster defenders. It's a slower play of the ball than he perhaps would have liked. And that's Jordan Parger. Ducking and diving from the play. The ball gets the offload away, but just, it was around the knees, wasn't it? For McNally, couldn't quite bring it in, and perhaps an opportunity now for Doncaster to break. Josh Guzdeck, scythed down on the 30-metre line. And Johnston picking it up from the play the ball. Smeaton, top try scorer in this division with 19. Plays the ball until Papa brings us up to halfway. It's very easy, isn't it? Doncaster getting off their own line. They seem to just be getting away from their own sticks with just routine at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, route one from Doncaster, but I must say good signs again for Oldham with Matt Nallies there, so instinctive, just on the shoulder there of Parger, who did a really good job there, just ducking and diving, just creating a little bit of chaos, which they've not done enough. Oldham just creating some chaos, get some fractures in this Doncaster defence by strength of carry, and you know, just pushing and expecting the breaks.
Johnston just underchips that kick a little bit. Well, I thought originally that had been just bumped forward from Halliday. The referee says play on, and he's stopped the game. He's going over to chat to his linesman.
Has he been? It's been tripped up or something like that. I think Halliday. Then there's something. He took quite a dramatic dive, didn't he?
Let's have a look at it here.
It's a knock on there for a start.
Yeah, just a stray leg.
The knock on there.
I think it's Cian Morgan who just leaves a little bit of his leg in.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. He's sent him. Oh, it's a yellow card.
Well, it's a yellow card.
Oh, not sure.
It's a real marginal one, isn't it? He has impeded Halliday on the way through.
The ball's dead anyway. It's a knock on.
I think it's Arvan. It's Arvan who's walking.
Okay, so the refs obviously give play on because he's kicked through. Oldham can have a chance to counter-attack, but yeah, he's impeded the defender.
Let's have a look at this. Halliday just puts the kick through. Oh, I'm not sure there's much in that.
He's basically really not moved his leg, hasn't he? He's not stuck his leg out after the kick. The leg's already there. I think that's a really tough call.
Well, when it rains, it pours. Oldham really up against it. 30 seconds left in the half, and having been in a potential scoring position not too long ago, they'll just be hoping to see this out, get themselves back in the sheds and regroup at this stage. Yeah. Oh, Van taking a really slow walk off, making Doncaster wait. Worth reminding you at this point that clock on your screen is not the official timekeeper's clock. It is a kind of rough guide for us, so we may have a few seconds or minutes of added time and an opportunity for Doncaster to stretch their lead out. They come out to the left-hand side. Fanua met well by Rawsthorne. Gets a quick play, and Robinson with ball in hand again. Louis McConnell trying to burrow his way through, just stopped short. Oldham have done a decent job here of slowing down the ruck. There's maybe too much of a job of slowing down the ruck here. And we'll see what the referee gives.
It's got messy, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's just broken down, hasn't it, in the last 2 or 3 minutes? Yeah. Maybe a bit of fatigue starting to set in.
That ruck needed to be messed up because there were short numbers here, Oldham. They only had the 4. A really wide spread there for Doncaster. You could just see them lining up. There's lots of shape here on this left edge. Oldham's right.
Well, no penalty or knock-on given. The referee's just going to tell them to play it again. Get on with it. He pulls us back again.
Yeah, Oldham will be happy with this. The messier, the better now at this point.
Just disrupting a good ball set, isn't it?
Yeah.
Giving them the opportunity to get set again. So they come to the right-hand side this time. Johnston is met.
Make it slow. They've got to make it slow.
It's probably slightly too quick, and James maybe caught in 2 minds about what he was doing with the ball there.
No, they've done a good job here, Oldham. They've done a good job.
Well, this is the last. One more tackle for them to survive. They're going to go for the 1 point. Straight into McNally. And he has given 6 again. Whether we'll have time for the full 6 or not entirely sure. But Boas picks it up. Comes to the right-hand side to Johnson. Johnson just thought he saw half a gap there. Couldn't quite jink his way through it. But he stopped 11 metres short. Watson comes out to the left-hand side. McDonald. Oh, it's a brilliant line. It's Alex Holdstock. And it just opened up in front of him. And Doncaster add to their tally right on the brink of half-time. And that mountain looks even steeper now for Oldham.
Yeah, I mean, they did a great job defensively, though. It started with a Rawsthorne tackle. He really come in and read the play. The short numbers has come off. In contrast to previous try, they conceded where they were sliding on their own line. Rawsthorne read it well and shut the play down. But, yeah, so they dealt with the set nice and slow, made it scruffy. And this time, again, it's the inside shoulders of Oldham. And yeah, it's a really soft try right up the middle. And I've seen this before in Oldham. I watched the game against Workington at Boundary Park the other week, and they let a couple in there and in around the middle. So yeah, not good defensively, but what a great line from Holstock as well. Like you said before, he's made a real impact since he's come on. He's been tough to bring down. He's created a little bit of chaos in and around the ruck, leaving people stranded. And yeah, he showed a clean pair of heels, good leg speed, and a really tough and brave carry and line that he hit there to go in under the H's. So great try for Doncaster. Complete body blow for Oldham on that instant.
Well, there's the hooter. So this kick will be the last action of the first half, as Robinson just nudges it over from right in front. So there we have it, 40 minutes in the bag, and a very good 40 minutes from a Doncaster perspective. They're going to the sheds 24 points to 0 up. And it's really been all about the middles, isn't it, and the way that they've worked those 2 scrum lines.
Absolutely, and I think the score absolutely reflects the game. I think the referee's been good. I think the Doncaster have been very good, and I think Oldham have been really passive defensively, and that's been the story of the half. Really, if you're not prepared to defend in effectively a semi-final, then you know, you don't deserve to get any further. But yeah, they're going to have to. The chat has got to be what they do defensively. And earning field position through what they do defensively. So fair play to Doncaster. Their message will be, don't go away from what we're doing, stay consistent, finish positive with good discipline, finishes to our sets, and you know, it's theirs to lose, isn't it? So they're in full control.
Well, this was the opening try of the game. They tried this a couple of minutes earlier and it hadn't worked. This time Fanua just keeps the ball in hand. Too big, too strong.
Yeah, they'll be disappointed. They'll be disappointed with the defence there, though. They're sat on their own try line, get forward, take the metres. You're going to let a big, strong man run at you like that, then you're going to get that outcome.
Again, Alvavete.
Just like that.
Just bigger and stronger than his opposite numbers, wasn't he?
But
you mentioned that they've spotted certain players, and he knew exactly where he was running there.
Absolutely, he's picked young Wilkinson out there, and it's a mismatch.
And then this really good offload from Boas, and Robinson just half a dummy, half a step, all he needed to just jump through. And at this point, you really started to feel the worst for Oldham.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you say, they're almost hoping that Doncaster make a mistake to give them an opportunity rather than wanting to earn it through what they're doing defensively. And on each occasion, on each try, there's been an individual error from Oldham. It's not. They fell out of structure. They've not been prepared to put the body in front, or they've just simply not had the energy to move forward and shut Doncaster down.
And then the yellow card for Arban, just left his leg in a split second too long, compounded right on the stroke of half time. Similar try to the Albert Vetti one earlier in the half, and his Holdstock bursting through the gap. And the boot of Robinson pushing Doncaster out to a 24-0 lead. Stay with us, 40 more minutes to come here at the Eco Power Stadium in Doncaster. Still plenty of time for Oldham to turn this around, but at the moment it is the home side who are very much on top. It is Doncaster 24, Oldham 0.
And a Super League season comes to its conclusion here tonight. It is 4 in a row.
Robinson is a moment for long. He's kicked it. A brilliant follow
This is spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. England are on a roll. There's Torrin jerseys everywhere. The 18-year-old scores. Wales over for the first try in this World Cup. Yaho's got the ball. He's kicked to the end goal. And they have pulled out a try. And a Super League season comes to its conclusion here tonight. It is 4 in a row.
Robinson is a moment for long. He's kicked it. A brilliant follow
This is spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. England are on a roll. There's Torrin jerseys everywhere. The 18-year-old scores. Wales over for the first try in this World Cup. Yaho's got the ball. He's kicked to the end goal. And they have pulled out a try. And a Super League season comes to its conclusion here tonight. It is 4 in Rugby League season comes to its conclusion here tonight. It is 4 in a row. Robinson, this is a moment for long. He's kicked it, a brilliant follow try. This is spectacular, absolutely spectacular. England are on a roll. There's Torring jerseys everywhere. The 18-year-old scores. Wales over for the first try in this World Cup. Yaho's got the ball. He's kicked to the end goal, and they have pulled out a try.
That's a big one.
He's powered over the man and scored! Oh, what a claim! And what a try!
Well, welcome back to the Eco Power Stadium here in Doncaster. Betfred League One playoffs, and it is the home side who were very much the happier at the break. They lead 24-0. And they've been impressive, haven't they? Especially in the middle. They've gone about their work very well.
Yeah, and we spoke about that right at the beginning, didn't we? The contrast. Would it be the architects of Oldham that finish on top? McNally, Ridyard, Parger, Wilkinson and Ellis, or would it be the strength, experience and toughness of the Doncaster pack? Well, you know, what we've seen is Johnston and Robinson playing a very intelligent game on the back of that pack, and the pack's coming out on top at the minute, and like I said, the little things done well for long periods is the way to go, and Doncaster are very much doing that, and yeah, I can't see anything else other than them kicking on and creating more pain and woes for Oldham, unless they, like I said before, they can shore up themselves defensively.
If you, Paul Rowley, had your coaching hat on, how would you be trying to plot a route back into this game for Oldham?
Oh, well, it's a choice, isn't it? And I'll be spewing, to be honest, as a coach. I'll be really disappointed in my side defensively, and their attitude to defend is all wrong. Last plays, short kickoffs, get the ball down there, bend your backs, and let's put our bodies in front. If you're not prepared to do that, then you don't need to win. So that's the start point. The rest will come off the back, because as we just said, they've got the architects and the shapes and all the pretty stuff to do the rest. We saw when they had an attack there on Doncaster's line, they look really dangerous, look really good. They've had one attack, and you know, that's not enough. They're just not willing to earn anything at the minute. So let's hope that Oldham, from an Oldham perspective, can, like I said, can just shore up defensively and put themselves back into this game.
Well, both teams back out onto the field. We mentioned in the first half, Doncaster quite leisurely in the way that they came out. Similar again, it appeared to be in any immediate rush, but why would they be? 24 points to 0 up. The game very much being played on their terms. Mentioned how good they've been in the middle of the park. They've had 10 minutes to get their breath back and go again. And you have to feel that first, if Oldham are going to make anything out of this, the first 10 minutes absolutely crucial. Yeah,
absolutely, and the starting pack here, then they've got a 10-minute stint before they bring the big boppers back on again, and Doncaster will be looking for another wave of enthusiasm when they do the interchanges once more.
So Newton with the first carry. for Oldham, right off the back fence, gets inside out to their own 10-metre line. And Patrick Moran puts his hand up for the second carry. And now Oldham look to just put a little bit of spread on, a little bit of width. Met well by that Doncaster defence. Sprayed out left to Ridyard, drops it back inside. Cut short on the 30-metre line. Parger gets them up and running from the play of the ball. Again looking to Ridyard, but he's brought down on the 40, and that's the last. The kick goes long, looking to turn the Doncaster back three around. Halliday just a little bit of football skill there to trap the ball. And he jogs it back in, brought down on the 20-metre line. Goes deck. Immediately they've identified perhaps a numbers mismatch over on this right edge. Dealt with in the end by Oldham. But they're going to have to be note perfect, aren't they, in defence, on top of everything that they have to do with the ball. Yeah, pretty subdued start, really. It's you know, they've thrown plenty at Doncaster there in terms of shape, but Doncaster again choosing the route one approach and again churning up the metres. The second half started the way the first half did, and as we just see Doncaster there just holding his neck. James with the carry. And he's just stayed down in backfield. Doctor on to have a look at him.
5.
Meanwhile, plays continue, and Robinson, as he has done all afternoon, puts a really high kick up.
Ball back on the 30.
And we're going to go back out on the full.
On the 30.
So a little bit of a let-off there for Oldham. The kick just slightly overcooked from Robinson. Clever work in the end.
Yeah.
He's done by Rawsthorne over on that far side.
That's really smart from Nick Rawsthorne, isn't it? He's had the presence of mind there to just put his foot down, make sure his foot's planted as he caught that ball. And he's earned his side 25 metres just through being switched on, and good read there.
So plenty of work still to do, but a platform perhaps for Oldham as Baker is brought down on the 30-metre line. Parger plays it to Dom Newton. Met well by that Doncaster defence. They've been very good at that, just shutting down those one-up carries. And now Ellis brings it right. Ridyard brings McNally into the line. Rawsthorne just trying to find space over on that right-hand side. And he's earned his side a penalty. I think just a little bit too much attention on the floor. Fanua looking at the referee in disbelief. Oh, it's a late shot, actually. It's Fanua just leaves his shoulder in.
Yeah, there's not much in it, is there? But he's just checked his man, hasn't he, and made contact with the non-ball carrier for Oldham. So again, some easy meters there. Doncaster just gifting Oldham some field position now. They were working hard defensively too. I think they'd restricted Oldham with 2 carries to 2 metres. And yeah, just on that occasion, Fanua it is, who's just let Oldham off the hook. So good chance for Oldham now to start this half and get themselves back into this game.
Sakar dropping the ball off to George Hurst. Plays the ball 30 metres out. Now they shape over to this left-hand side. Emerson Whittle takes the ball in. It's a very controlled ruck again from the Doncaster defence. Ellis shoots out to the right-hand side. The pass is behind everyone and could be an opportunity for Colin Robinson here. Has to go to ground to bring the ball in safely. But a real missed opportunity from an Oldham perspective. And Doncaster find themselves on the front foot again. Missy Tulapapa, as he has done all afternoon, making a real nuisance of himself over on that left edge. Boas takes the carry in. Tulapapa drops it off to Fanua. Fanua brought down dead centre, 25 metres out. Boas brings us over to the right with Johnston. Johnston keeps the ball in hand and tackle. This is the last. Options left and right. They come over to the right hand side, and Robinson just puts it up in the air again for Halliday to try and get under. Ball goes to ground.
Advantage, it's Oldham ball.
Referees judge that it's gone forward.
I think Halliday just put an hand to it, didn't he? But again, Doncaster prepared to just play the disciplined game. Kicks again into the corner, just coming down on the winger's head there, or full-back's head, and just happy to just earn field position and territory. And,
yeah, it's a simple game plan being carried out very effectively, isn't it, at this point? They've been very good in the things that they've done, not given much away at all. That's why Oldham have started a lot of their sets in positions like these, in the shadow of their own posts. So they come over to the right-hand side. Ridyard brings Hurst onto the ball. He's brought down, and again, looking to spread it early on. Ridyard drops it off to Patrick Moran.
Hit me, Brad. 4.
Parga brings us back out to the right.
4.
Ridyard.
Okay, shoulder.
Good meters over on that right-hand side for Oldham. But this is the last.
5. Go. 5.
What kind of field position can they turn this ball over in? It goes high up from Ridyard. It's spiralling all over the place. It's going to be a difficult one to take. But Tulu Papa does really well underneath it and makes his side 3 or 4 meters off the back of it as well. Excellent take from the Doncaster veteran. It's a bit of a messy ruck, slows it down. And Patrick Arvani back onto the field for Oldham, so they are back up to their full complement. A costly one in the end, conceding that try just before half-time. Just a few just shoots of encouragement.
Yeah,
Oh, as I say that, Boas has gone through the middle, but there's a knock-on in there.
Yeah. I thought Oldham shaped up really well in that last set in particular. Asked loads of questions, and I've got to take my hat off to George Hurst. I think he's worked tremendously hard for Oldham. He's took a lot of carries, done a lot of defence. Not getting much in way of clean breaks, but he's certainly denting the Doncaster line on several occasions and playing off Ridyard in particular. So again, the field positions there now for Oldham. They're just going to start this set in Oldham's in Doncaster's half for a rare opportunity to get some points on the board. So full complement of players back on. Now's the moment.
There's other playoff action elsewhere, of course. The latest score from Workington Town. They lead North Wales Crusaders 10 points to 8. So the winner of that game will play the loser of this one, which of course at the moment looks like it's going to be Oldham at Boundary Park, whilst the winners will go on to play Hunslet, who have given themselves a week off. As Rochdale, Oldham, bring the ball over to the right-hand side. Just running the full list of League One clubs there. But the ball goes to ground.
Middle, Sammy. 2 knock-ons. And
the chance goes begging again for Oldham.
Final pass, isn't it? I think the previous set, when it was Jamie Ellis who ran at the line, that time it was Pat Moran. They look really good. They've got when they run with speed at the Doncaster line, it makes the defence plant the feet as opposed to coming forward. So they make defensive errors, and it's just that last pass that's just gone astray. There's Greg McNally that time just behind his winger, but the shape's looking good, just not executing the pass.
So Doncaster with ball in hand again, and assuming that the result does stay the way it's looking at the moment, they'll take a huge amount of confidence into that game next week, which could see them earn themselves a place in that promotion final.
Yeah, absolutely, and it doesn't look like it's going to be anything other than that. But there's still a good 30 minutes left, and we've seen some pretty extraordinary things in games of rugby league, as we know. So I guess the important thing for Oldham's point of view is they really need to get on the scoreboard next, don't they?
For Boas, who's been really lively actually since his injection into the game, about half an hour in.
Kicker's fine.
Takes the ball in. Robinson just stabs the grubber through, and it's an error. And a repeat set. And there was nearly more points on offer. I think it was Alex Holstock who was coming flying through again. Just couldn't bring the ball in cleanly.
Knock on, Doncaster ball.
But Oldham just compounding their own misery at this stage. And a full set to defend yet again on their own goal line.
Yeah, so this is a worry, isn't it? Their inability to defend their own line in that first half. You know, so this is the first test, I guess, if you like. They'll have the coaches' words ringing in their ears about resilience and defending try line D. So this is the first test of the second half, where they're really going to have to dig in now and repel this Doncaster pack that's going to come back up that middle.
We come over to the right hand side. Johnston brings it up to the line, just loses his footing a little bit before he's able to get the pass away. Boas, short drop off ball to Smeaton, who's barged his way over, but he's held up.
Come on. Tackle 2.
Sam Smeaton, 19 tries already this season, so he knows where the line is, and he did find it there, to be fair to him, but that Oldham defence just doing enough to keep him out. Boas passes over Connor Robinson's head, but he brings it in. He's brought down about 8 metres short. Boas looks to go from the ruck himself. I think it was Ferris that came flying through, but Boas unable to get the pass away in time. So Doncaster come over to the right hand side. Smeaton just running out of options there a little bit. Brings it over to the right to Guzdek. Just lost a little bit of shape here, Doncaster, but Guzdek's done well actually just to keep the ball alive. He's brought down eventually. They've got options left and right. They turn to the right. Alex Holdstock already won in this game just before half time. Can his side have more points to their tally here? Robinson just stabs the kick through. Could be Ferris in here if he's made any time, and he hasn't. He can't have been far away there. Brett Ferris, a really clever kick, stabbed through from Connor Robinson, but Oldham get away with it on this occasion and get us up and running quickly. And they're having the ball now on their own 30-metre line. Shaping over to this left edge. Halliday does well.
He must have knocked that on, Brett Ferris, because he definitely got there before the dead ball line, so the angle on the replay didn't quite show it. But again, let's go again. The positives. Oldham did great job there defending their own line. Slightly different tactics from Doncaster, just started chasing the edge a little bit. And again, the message from Richard Orne will be just stick to what they've been doing all first half.
Parker almost just jinking through from the play of the ball, just scragged back. And now McNally gets the moving again over to the right-hand side. Connor Carr still going. Probably their best set of the half from an Oldham perspective, and now there's space over the right hand side. Could be in here.
20.
But we're going to go back for a 20-metre tap. McNally just not quite able to get himself in front of Halliday and get to that ball.
On the mark.
Yeah, he's just asking the referee, is there an obstruction in them, but they don't need to move out of his way, do they?
And he's lost that, but he's going to get a penalty for it. I think just a little bit too much interest in the ruck from an Oldham perspective.
Ball steal to it, tackle.
Yeah, there's claiming a one-on-one, isn't he, Pat Moran? Do you know? I think he's got a call as well. I think he's been hard done to there.
Well, Robinson brings Doncaster just short of the halfway line. Fanua will get us back underway.
Good, mate. Ball steal, end on.
And Ferris inches away from scoring previously. Wants to bring his side up to the halfway line. Robinson. Big pumping carry from Keelan Foster. And now Boas almost got himself away from the ruck, just scragged back. The whole stock's there in support. And yet again, we've seen it all afternoon, that Doncaster rumble.
Okay now, mate.
Just player after player offering themselves up to the line. It's Johnston now keeping the ball alive. Brings it up to the line of Fanua. Wasn't quite a clean pass and take in the end. Couldn't quite work his way through. Doncaster still going. McConnell could be through here. Met well in the end by the Oldham defence. This is the last. Really good line speed in the end from Parga to stop Robinson being able to get anything away. The chip comes over the top. But I think we're going to go back for a penalty. Yep. A late shot.
That's a trip, isn't it?
And a penalty directly in front of the sticks. Would you just put the 2 over, keep the scoreboard
just chip
ticking?
it over, just more. I think it's a really unnecessary penalty though to give away. Is he sin binning?
It's a trip.
Yeah, it's a silly one really, and it is a sin binning.
There was.
Is it tripping?
So they've lost the fullback now. So they're losing. They've lost their attacking shape now. They've lost the fullback, but an unnecessary penalty there. Petulant, really, because you know there was never really any threat of scoring. It was covered. It was last play again. They've done another good set defensively. But what I am impressed with is Doncaster's willingness to push in support. The first sign of a quick ruck, or first sign of bouncing back across from the pivots, and the willingness to hit lines and push and show some energy and support the ball carry is really good from Doncaster, and it has been all afternoon.
Well, not dissimilar, that Greg McNally sin binning to the one that saw Patrick Arvan sitting down for 10 minutes at the end of the first half.
Yeah, I think Patrick Arvan was slightly unlucky. I don't think he stuck a leg out. I think he left the leg out. Whereas I think Greg's just got involved in something he didn't need to get involved in. I just think it's clumsy and a little bit petulant from Greg. Just get out of the way.
Well, Conor Robinson adds 2 more, and we've spoken a lot about the Doncaster pack and the middle and the way that they've really dominated that central passage of the field. But I feel as well that either side of that, Conor Robinson and Johnson have just had excellent games. They've looked really lively, both sides of the ruck. They always look like they've got multiple options. They've not allowed that Oldham defence to make those easy reads, and they're a big reason. As much as we talk about the forward performance, I think those 2 halfbacks are a big reason for the success they've had.
They've had a really team-first mentality. I think they've been patient and disciplined. When your involvement isn't as high as you would. I mean, Ridyard must have touched the ball more than any other player on the field, but those 2 pivots are happy for the middles to just do what's working for them and wait and sit, and at the right time just get their hands on the ball, and whether that's a last play, value the last play, or value the execution of that one shot they're going to get in each set. So just disciplined, I think, from the Doncaster halves. It's been very, very good.
Well, Doncaster's right edge there, Brad Hay to begin with, and then Tom Halliday making some decent meters, and they get the offload away. Boas recycles it, Robinson with a dummy and a step, and he almost had the offload. It was McConnell flying through the gap. If they'd have got that away, he could have been in some space there, but Oldham shut them down eventually. Boas comes over to the left-hand side. Robinson brings it up to the line. He drops it off to Guzdek. Guzdek under the attention of Ridyard, but gets himself free again and makes some easy meters off the back of the initial contact. So this is the last tackle. Oh, but just a fun ball from Boas. Thought about what he was doing, didn't take the ball with him, and a let off for Oldham.
Yeah, he's set off running before he's even picked up the ball there, hasn't he? He's so eager, seen an opportunity, gone for the one-handed pickup, and just an error there. Again, just let Oldham off the hook a little bit. But again, he's been lively, hasn't he, Boas? His eagerness to just run and carry and break tackles has caused a tired Oldham defence even more problems.
Yeah, a bit of a cult hero in these parts. Watson Boas, P&G International World Cup 2017, and the one just gone, of course. Very lively since entering the game, about halfway through that first half. At this stage, are Oldham just trying to kind of play themselves into a bit of form and confidence ahead of what looks like a home playoff shootout next week?
Well, it looks like that, but as we see, he's put his foot out, surely.
Yeah, I think Halliday.
Oh, that's a great kick from Ridyard. Great kick.
Trying to prevent the 40-20. Halliday's put his foot out as he's knocked that through. So perhaps an opportunity here for Oldham just to get themselves on the board.
What a good call from the touchy.
He's got that on.
Great
spot
call.
on, I think.
Yeah, you think that's how close it was. We've got the replay and we're still not sure.
No, it's a thankless, enviable, non-enviable job, isn't it? Match officials, especially some of those decisions like that. They're not even a matter of inches. That's millimetres. Yeah, even less. So Oldham with a chance then to get themselves on the scoreboard. To bring the ball with a long breaking pass out to the right to Ridyard. He's met well. Doncaster's defence offering themselves up as they have done all afternoon. But an opportunity to put that line under duress. Luke Nelms with the carry, eventually brought down. Parger at the play of the ball. Options left and right. Goes to the broadside again. Ridyard. Arvan stabs a little kick through. I think it's Rawsford in the end. He's done really well to get his side at Tulipapa. Sorry, I think he's got his side out of bother there. And Doncaster survive, and you maybe just question the decision to kick there.
Well, I'm going to put out there, it's a terrible decision to kick. He's running as a fullback there, Patrick Arvan, because Greg McNally's gone off. So attacking wise, it's not a problem. But he's put it through on tackle 3. They've had no territory, they've had no possession down in Doncaster's half, and they put the kick through on tackle 3. It wasn't even on. It's a terrible play, just releasing pressure for Doncaster. A really pivotal moment. You were saying that they're just playing for confidence now. There's 20 minutes left of the game, 26 points in the modern game. You can churn that up, no problem. Yeah, they needed to score.
Well, Robinson splits the three-quarter line with that kick through. Arvan mops up, plays it to Rawsford. He plays a long ball out to Jamie Ellis.
Move, Ben!
Finding himself out on the wing. And they've not put the cue in the rack, have they, Oldham? They've kept coming. 20 minutes left in this game. Still something to play for, perhaps.
No, absolutely not. And what they are showing is that if these sides do meet again, that they are capable, Oldham. They just need to have an attitude adjustment defensively. But in terms of what they do with the ball, again, get the lion's share or a fair share of possession, and they can cause problems, no doubt.
So Ridyard bringing Connor Carr onto the ball. Carr brought down just inside Doncaster half. This is the 5th. Ridyard puts a really tall kick up into the air. Gosdek does really well underneath it. I've been really impressed with him from fullback, and he makes some meters off the back of it as well. The crowd show their appreciation. Missy Tulipapa just does it himself from the base of the ruck. Still going. Manages to keep that ball carrying arm off the floor, so gets probably another 10-12 meters off the back of it. And again, Doncaster set themselves a really good attacking platform. Boas brings it out to the right-hand side.
Still moving.
Brad Knowles with the carry. It's just slightly behind Johnston. And the referee judges that it's a knock-on. So Doncaster unable to get a roll on that occasion. Oldham grateful for the breather.
Well, they've definitely dropped in intensity, haven't they, Doncaster, this second half, and you kind of want Oldham to grasp a little bit of that and like I said before, complete the sets, get through the 6 tackles, not 3 and kick, and try and get something in terms of points, and if they don't get the win, at least bring it a little bit closer, like you said, to just take some confidence into that next game. But I've got to say, when will he slow down? Missy Tulipapa, he's
been outstanding, hasn't he?
He's been absolutely fantastic. He's so strong in his carries, and he fights for everything, doesn't he? He's so competitive, and he's been doing that now for 2 decades at least.
Well, there's been a big shift to the second half of the other playoff game this afternoon. Latest score from there, Worthington Town 10, North Wales Crusaders 20. Workington were ahead at half-time, so a real strong second-half performance by the looks of it from North Wales. Reminder, the winner of that game will play the loser of this one. At the moment, looks like we're heading to Boundary Park. Ridyard brings it up to the line, keeps hold of it. Arvan just slightly overran it, but the ball's gone to ground. Smeaton, well, they say celebrate all the small wins. He certainly enjoyed that one.
Yeah, absolutely. He's again another old campaigner. He's been such a good player at this level for a very long time, and again, top try scorer this year for the League One. So he's doing a great job that time with him defensively, just letting Ridyard know that how excited they are and how enthused they are to putting a good piece of defence together. Ridyard coming up with the error as he got driven towards touchline there.
So Doncaster ball, just about 15 minutes or so left in this game. Really strong showing so far from the Dons. Worth every bit of that 26 points to 0 lead. Will they stretch it out even further? Referee's just going to stop the game here. There's a player down.
He's in play.
Just to the side of the ruck.
It's George Hurst, isn't he? Just he went down just in back play though. He just took a knee, so I'm not quite sure. He's not been involved in any collision as such. Something's just bothered him. As we see the physio giving him some treatment there in and around his neck area.
Well, it's just a bit of a jar maybe around his neck and shoulder. Bit of a stunner. He's been busy, hasn't he, in this second half?
I think he's worked really hard all game with and without the ball. So yeah, I think he might have got there. Just a bit of an elbow to the throat.
You all right in that book there, but just make sure.
Oh yeah, just on look at that, he's stretching his arm out, so maybe, like you said, a stinger.
You all right, George? Tackle 2, he's staying on, mate.
Looks like he's going to be okay to continue. Big thumbs up in the air from the physio.
Tackle 2, Brad. Wait here, mate. On the
Glad to see George Hurst back in that defensive line.
Go, back on. Time on.
And it's Doncaster with the football. Johnston just drops it up to Guzdeck. Guzdeck runs out of real estate.
Hold, break, good.
And now we come back over to the skinny side. Smeaton just draws the man in. Halliday's found some space on the right-hand side, and it's a strolling. Finished off by Tom Halliday, but really good work from Sam Smeaton to just suck the defence in, create the space for the winger, and then it was all class from then on in the hands to get the ball out wide.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a short side there. They've got the numbers. A man down, like we've said before, because Arvan's gone to full-back, so there's a man down in the defensive line. They've picked it perfectly. And it's Smeaton who's just got the pass away and got the 2v1. So I'm just going in the corner. It's really good from Doncaster to execute that play.
Good work from Greg Burns at play the ball as well, back into the game, just to identify that mismatch of numbers on that right-hand side.
Yeah, his deception's good as well. He's looking left. He's not rushing his play, so he's let the play eventuate, and he's in and executed brilliantly, really. So Oldham really needed to buy a little bit of time and just keep pedalling back and give them the field. There were plenty of grass behind them, so they didn't need to bite in at that last moment there. They should have just let the play fold out. However, like I said before, Doncaster did a great job just straightening up, drawing the man, and good old-fashioned simple rugby. Draw a man and pass it, and it was a great and I must say well-deserved try there in the corner. He's been pretty good all day. He's had some really strong carries, Tom Halliday, particularly at the beginning of the game, and much-deserved try. Yeah,
he's been excellent in yardage and cashing in at the other end of the field. Robinson, who's been very good with the boot this afternoon, as he has been all season. And no problems with that one. From that right edge, just breezes it over. 2 more points on the board for Doncaster. We were breezing through to the next stage of these playoffs, and it's a real evident there is that losing your fullback for 10 minutes is a really kind of difficult thing to adjust around, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, they're going to be one short in the defensive line, so it's all about looking up and picking numbers. You spotted it before. The pivots for Doncaster have been really good this afternoon, really clinical in how they've executed, and they've spotted the numbers and they've pulled the trigger. So it's all right saying it, but executing it's a different thing. And Doncaster, well, it's their day today, isn't it? And they've sent a big message to everybody else in this race for the championship and promotion.
Yeah, they've been very, very impressive.
Stay up, back with me.
Hunslet awaits.
Tackle 2.
For the Dons.
Move back, move back, move back.
And another thing they'll be very pleased about is that they've been able to do this, but manage some of the minutes of some of their perhaps more seasoned bigger players in that middle as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and there's a nil, isn't there, at side of Oldham, so they'll be pleased about that. But yeah, you're right. I think everybody's contributed evenly in this game, and if there are any knocks in there and war wounds from the season, they're in a comfortable position now where, like you said before, they don't need to take any chances. They can mix and match and rest people at will now.
Good, mate. 4.
So Boaz, who looks like he's just dropped into the halves with Greg Burns coming in to that 9 position. A lot of versatility as well in this Doncaster team. Robinson just looking to turn that Oldham defence around, which he does.
Don't mind that. 10 minutes to go. That's the game management, isn't it? They don't need to win it again. The game's done. Just bring it home now. Stay disciplined. And like I said before, look after your players now.
So just over 10 minutes. There or thereabouts for Oldham to try and get rid of that duck egg on your screen. That 0.
Moving forward, Nick, come on.
And at this point, that'll be the thing that Doncaster really care about, won't it? Because what a feather in their cap that would be to come away from this game with a clean sheet.
Yeah, definitely. And like we said, certainly after all the close encounters they've had against Oldham, you know, we were saying before how tight it's been. They've been quite an evenly matched sides. Well, there's only been one winner today. There's been dominant in every facet of the game, Doncaster, and they've physically beat Oldham today convincingly.
Well, McNally back onto the field of play after a stint in the sin bin, and he puts that kick over the top. It's bouncing around, but Guzdeck will deal with it. He's met by Connor Cart.
That's probably the best play, last play that they've come up with. 10 minutes to go, and again, there's the tackle too, what we spoke about, controlling the starts of the sets. So here comes Fanua. Let's see if they can get the 3.
Yeah, Fanua carrying it right off that goal line. Does well in the end just to get that arm free, muscle himself through, finds his front. A bit of a messy ruck, so doesn't get the benefit of the quick play of the ball. But Doncaster very much at a point where they'll be happy to just roll through their sets here. Now Boas stepping off both feet, looking to take that line on. But this is the last, and this is probably one of the furthest back positions that we've seen Connor Robinson kick the ball all game.
I was just going to say that's the best defensive set Oldham have had. Last play in defence, you know, and you want to pay credit to Oldham rather than say Doncaster have just put the cue on the rack. I think it was Oldham that was prepared to work hard there, and like I say, there's the blueprint.
Well, I don't think Doncaster put the cue in the rack at all. I think they've been very professional and brutal in the way that they've carried out this second half performance.
Next is one.
Zarvan bringing the ball in for Oldham, but he's lost it in the contact. And Doncaster will get an opportunity then with about 8 minutes left to pile more misery onto the Roughheads. Came into this game all off the back of that 10-18 defeat in the Midlands, and we kind of thought that potentially it was such a blip because there's been a lot of optimism around the club with what's coming. Move to Boundary Park from next season, of course, new ownership, Mike Ford, a legend of the borough, getting involved in his former club, but today that they've really been just outclassed, haven't they?
Yeah, they've been second best in every department, so I mean, they do get a second crack at it, so I guess that's the positive in there against a team that they will see as beatable as well. So they only have to, you know, get through, and then they can win any game. They've shown that this season already, and it's certainly the top half of League One. It's quite evenly matched, and they've all took points off one another during the season. So it's not all lost. But it's it's a huge wake-up call for the level of intensity required to get the goal that you're looking for.
So Doncaster with another scoring opportunity. Boas, a couple of digs to try and get himself over. Oldham defence wise to it, and the ball's come loose.
Middle.
Watson Boas wanting a penalty, but not getting it. So Oldham will get the ball back 10 metres out from their own line. Just an update from that other game you mentioned, Paul, the winners of which will play the losers of this. So I think we can safely say at this point will be Oldham, and it is still Workington Town 10, North Wales Crusaders 20, with about 10 minutes left in that one. So at the moment, looks like we're set for Oldham versus the North Wales Crusaders at Boundary Park next weekend, with Doncaster making the trip to Hunslet with a place in the promotion final on the line. So Wilkinson at the play, the ball brings it out to the right hand side. Ridyard drops it off.
Free. Move, Greg! Get back! Hold.
And even now,
Free.
Doncaster just doing enough in the ruck, aren't they, to slow it down and stop Oldham from getting any real momentum.
Free.
It's all just a little bit disjointed.
Move, Ben! Hit me! Moving forward, play on the mat.
And now they come over to this right edge.
Back, back. Surrender! Stand!
That's something there's not been a lot in the game. Offloads, either side. I recall Doncaster making a couple. I'm not sure that's Oldham's first one.
So Ridyard with the kick from his own 40, just puts it up in the air.
Send it middle, lads. You're good now. Play on.
Guzdeck brings it in. Rolls, I'm going to ask you to start having to think about your Betfred player of the match. Okay. I'll come to you in a couple of minutes for that. In the meantime, Doncaster with the ball again. And Halliday, who may well be a contender for that, plays the ball. Tula Papa fires himself into that defensive line.
Move! Find space! Pat, you're not
Still putting himself up for carries, even with the game at the scoreline that it is. Watson Boas
move! Hit me!
causing all sorts of problems up the middle.
Free, well done. Free.
And Doncaster just rolling that ball forward with Brad Knowles.
Hold. Good back, hold.
They'd love one more, wouldn't they? Just to really put the cherry on the cake. Smeaton, he's got 19 of them this season.
5. Move, Callum! Cheers, mate. Find space!
Just wrapped up there, and this is the last tackle. So they come out to the left-hand side. Boas to Robinson. Ferris. There's a gap for Ferris if he can go through it. He looked for the offload. It was never really on, but he chanced his arm.
Last tackle turnover.
And Oldham will get the ball back. But yet again, it's felt like all game this has been the case. They're starting with the ball 10 metres off their own line.
Yeah, absolutely. And I keep being tempted to say it's much too easy for Doncaster all throughout, but I've got to say that they have really earned everything through what they've done defensively in particular, but the strength of Carey's been really quite amazing, so particularly from their outside backs, and then the big men have really carried that baton on from there. So they have earned it. I think Oldham have seemed shocked at the intensity that Doncaster have stepped up to. They look like they're playing on a different level to me than Oldham, and like I said before, it is a wake up for them if they want to be successful in this mini competition at the end of the season.
What an Oldham penalty gives them the opportunity to just clear their lines a little bit, bring them just short of the halfway line. So Ellis out to Parga. Parga sprays it out to Ridyard. Ridyard's got options on his shoulder, decides to keep the ball in hand.
Back.
Wilkinson brings it back to the left-hand side. Ian Morgan just making himself a little bit of a nuisance in there. Pat Moran, sorry, that carry.
Move, Sam! Hit me, find space!
And Wilkinson will bring the ball from the play the ball out to the right-hand side. Luke Nelms brings it back onto the left, drops the offload off. Callum Cameron looking left and right for options, doesn't see any, so just settles the carry himself. Wilkinson, Parga. Ridyard now just stabs the kick through, but it's really well dealt with. Doncaster survive again. So Paul, I'll come to you now. Who is your Betfred player of the match?
Yeah, I think for Oldham you've got to notable mentions for Rawsthorne, Ridyard, Hurst. For Doncaster, there's a lot of choice there. Guzdeck has been fantastic. Halliday has been fantastic, and then in the middle there, they've had Holstock who's come on and done a fantastic job, and then both pivots, Johnson and Robinson. But the guy you want to go to war with, the guy that you want to line up with, who's been tough as teak all day, number 22, Mr. Papa, for me, has been the guy that you just want to play alongside. He's an absolute champion today, and he has been for a long career, and successful career too.
So there you go, the oldest player on the field, rolling back the years this afternoon here on the Sportsman. Missy Tula Papa is your Betfred player of the match. Ferris there, I think he thought he was just in to dot that ball down. A little bit of frustration for him. He was inches away from scoring earlier. I don't think when he watches that back he can have too many complaints.
No, not at all, not at all. It's a little bit of an overreaction, that one, but
well, they don't get over for many, do they?
No.
The middles, they all count.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to have much of a bearing on the outcome of the game. But yeah, a bit gutted with that one.
So a minute or so left in this one. That clock on your screen, just a guide, of course, not linked up to the referee's clock, but we've not had too many stoppages, so I don't think we'll be far off. Oldham, can they just get some points on the board to avoid that 0 next to their name? Doncaster, I was just about to say, been excellent in their defensive work, and then they give away a penalty. So Oldham will look to stick this ball as far in the corner as they can, and maybe one more set, a few more tackles to try and do what they've not been able to do for 80 minutes and breach that Doncaster try line. They're going to start with the ball 30 metres away.
On the line, lads. Yeah.
Can they take some points into that game next week? Ridyard. Oh, it's an error. And that really sums their afternoon up, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Just every pass has been a little bit high, a little bit low, behind. In that case, behind. Again, it's a great line from Hurst. Ridyard's just not nailed the pass for him. They've gone for a spread on play one, which is, there's no problem with that. But the execution is just a little bit off. When you've got a big and tough defender like Ferris in front of you, you've got to be on the mark and give the lead runner a fighting chance.
Missy Tulapapa, your Betfred player of the match, all that experience, taking that into a massive game next week against Hunslet for a place in the Betfred League One playoff promotion final, which of course in a few weeks' time we will be bringing you here live and exclusive on the Sportsman. Is there an opportunity for one more try for Doncaster? Halliday's got the field in front of him, right on the hooter from distance, perhaps the pick of the bunch for Doncaster. Salt in the wound for Oldham. And Tom Halliday has his second of the game.
Well, if he'd have done that 5 minutes ago, he would have got the man of the match. So, but I can't change it. So he has been fantastic. It was a tough choice, and he's been right up there for lots of different reasons. Like you say, he's just showed in his last 10 minutes his finishing prowess with a couple of tries there. But more importantly for me, and the respect that he'll get from his teammates for his yardage carries, certainly in that first half. I thought he set the tone for the game, Halliday, and I think he's been fantastic. And you know, I think the whole Doncaster team's been fantastic, to be fair. But certainly Halliday and Tulapapa in particular have been real talisman, real leaders, and like I said before, the sort of guys that you want to line up alongside.
So a near perfect afternoon for the Dons then. They will go into next week's semi-final full of confidence. For Oldham, they get a second chance. They'll be returning to Boundary Park. Played there last week. They're back there full-time next season. Fantastic for them. And it is looking, as it stands, as if they will be playing the North Wales Crusaders, who have not long gone into a 26 points to 10 lead against Workington Town up in Cumbria. A rare sight this afternoon. Robinson puts it to the left of the post, but it's irrelevant because Doncaster are through with flying colours into that semi-final. A 36 points to 0 win against Oldham, and it's that 0 that's so impressive, isn't it?
No, it is. Yeah, I think it's just been a really accomplished performance for a team that's been willing to work hard and step up 2 and 3 levels in intensity, which is what you need for playoff football. I said before, they'd been here before. They was here at the final last year. They narrowly missed out, and you know, it looks like they're learning from their mistakes. That pain is still learned. They want to put it right this year. This looks like a team on an absolute mission, and they look determined to fulfil the goals. I thought they were fantastic today in every department.
I thought one of the real kind of key moments in the match was just the way that they rolled the bench halfway through that first half. They didn't lose any of that early momentum, did they? That strength in depth is going to come in so useful for the rest of this playoff campaign.
Yeah, I think if Richard Orme was going to write the script for today, then the first 20 minutes went absolutely per plan. They rolled Oldham in that middle, through the middles, through their outside back strength and carry, defended tough, and then, like you said, they was able to get all the subs on when it suited them just after that 20-minute mark. And what you want, as I said before, from a bench is that for them to come on and make a real impact. And like we've seen, William Boas in particular with his strong carries, Alex Olstock, who they just couldn't seem to put to ground, or certainly not on his backs. And again, James and Foster all came on and made real notable contributions.
This was the start of it all. Mahe Fanua just muscling his way over, picked his man out on that left edge. Too big, too strong in the end for Connor Carr and Nick Rawsform. And from that point on, there was a real confidence about Doncaster, and that's just a big man carrying it up, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to describe. It's Oldham sat on the feet, sat on the heels, and you're going to let a big man run at you, then you'll get that outcome every time.
And then Boas, who made a real impact when he came on, getting the offload away, and too easy really for Connor Robinson. He'll take those all day long. Just a little bit of a gap on the inside push and through for the try.
Yeah, I think what we have seen as well, the last try of Halliday is the first long-range try that Doncaster have had to score. Everyone has started in good ball and close to the Oldham line.
Well, this is a yellow card incident. Arvan just leaving that leg out slightly too long.
Yeah, I think
found himself in the bin. And off the back of that, they actually defended that following set really well. The drop goals charged down, gave Doncaster another crack of the whip. And in the end, a really well-run line from Alex Olstock, back on that inside shoulder. Very similar to the line that Albert Vete hit. And then just some off-the-cuff work.
Oh, it's the Simbin, isn't it? It's a Simbin. It's the Gretman Alice Simbin. It's just sticking his leg out. Oh, that's great.
And they just use those numbers from that extra man for Halliday to go over in the corner.
Well, it's a 4v3. They've played really straight. They've got each one of them's drawn the man. Just needs to shut it down a little bit early or buy more time. So you'd class it as defensive error, but executed brilliantly by Doncaster.
And then this to round it off. Johnson finds the space, and Halliday doesn't need much invitation. Through the gap like a rocket. No one catching him from there.
Yeah.
Rounding off a perfect afternoon for Doncaster.
Yeah, it's a fitting end, isn't it? As like I said before, all the other tries were close range, all worth the same, by the way. But that reflected the game, didn't it? That Doncaster spent too much time in the Oldham half, and like I said, this one, just a cherry on the cake. Real try scorers prowess there, just getting the 50-60 metre try from Halliday, who's had a great game.
So there we have it, 36 points to 0. The final score here. Halliday with 2. Robinson got himself on the score sheet with a try, but 6 goals out of 8 as well. Such a bonus, isn't it? I mean, you've got one in the shape of Mark Sneed when you've got a person that you can always bank on to kick those 2.
Yeah,
worth the weight in gold.
Absolutely, it just paints a different picture, doesn't it? At the end, you know, it's a drubbing, isn't it? 36-0 and 12 points attributed to goal kicks. So, yeah, like we said before, I think you pointed out not just his goal kicking, but his kicking out of hand as well. Robinson and Ben Johnston have both been really disciplined and really clinical with the kicking this afternoon on the back of a disciplined performance from Doncaster.
I'm not sure that this is ever a position that Mike Ford thought that he was going to find himself in when he got involved with Oldham, kind of taking over the coaching reins. But he's got a big job to do, isn't he, after this, to pick his side up ahead of that game next week? Yeah,
I mean, he can't change anything tactically, can he? Dramatically in terms of how Oldham play. That's their blueprint. They play that way, and they've got the strengths and weaknesses. And I said before, I thought Doncaster had got them covered in the middle of the pitch, and that proved to be so. However, what you can do is motivate them, give them confidence, and you know, build them up that way and belief. So I think that's his task going forward. He needs to galvanise his senior players and make sure that you know that they're going tough and they believe they can get this.
Well, Missy Tulipapa put in a huge performance, earned himself that player of the match accolade from Paul, and we can go pitch side now to Paul Kidd to hear from.
Well, Missy, first of all, you've just come up with a great performance from a personal point of view. You just got yourself the player of the match, so congratulations on that.
Oh, geez, thanks for that. Yeah, we had we thought about this whole week, had a good start to this week, and I think we had a few boys play today that were well. I was just probably lucky enough to get the man of the match, but yeah, thank you.
Obviously, going into the playoffs, you say you've had a big week. You've another big week ahead now, where you face an away game at Hunslet next week.
Yeah, of course. We've been looking forward to this game. This win was what we needed for next week. But, we can't enjoy it tonight. We've got to focus on next week. And that's the biggest game that we've got. Leading into this, we're confident. We know what to do. I think the loss against these guys the last time has made us, have that fire in us. And these last couple of weeks on our wins, it's just given us confidence.
And finally, Missy, just before we obviously let you go, it was a great win today. You talk about the guys in camp there. Just what's the spirit like at the moment amongst the players? Yeah,
we're a close group. We feed off each other. It's been enjoyable, but at the same time, we're really focused in. We've still got a lot to give, and that's the dangerous thing about our team. But on the day, when we turn up, we're hard to beat.
Missy, thanks so much for joining us. Go and enjoy the rest of the day with the guys. We're bringing head coach Richard Horn. Richard, first of all, you must be absolutely delighted with that performance there.
Yeah, certainly. I think the most pleasing thing is keeping it to 0. We spoke about we're going to have to be good defensively with the strike plays they've got in Pagger and Rijad and Nally out the back. So yeah, we had to be good defensively, and on the back of that, because it gave us opportunity with the ball and big possessions of it, and we could break them down.
It's almost, Richard, as though you've read my notes, because one of the things I was going to ask you was it most pleasing to nil the opposition? Was it the way that you went about your performance, in particular in the first half? The kicking game was absolutely outstanding, and the middles just seemed to punch holes, and the field position that you had in the first half set the platform.
Yeah, certainly, and it's been an area of throughout the season we haven't been great at is last tackle plays, and we've put the pressure on the halves to make sure that we are doing it well, because it's huge for a team. Putting a team on the line and asking them to come 100 metres, it's hard work for any team, and we did that consistently, and again we forced some errors, which always then gives you opportunity with the ball, and we created some good opportunities to score. And yeah, look, we've achieved nothing yet. It's one step to where we want to be. We know we're facing a really gritty Hunslet team. They did a job on us last time we played them, so we know it's going to be a tough game, and one that we are looking forward to.
No doubt, Richard, you'll have another big week in camp this week, but you have got one opportunity next week against Hunslet. If you beat Hunslet, you'll get home advantage in the grand final. Just how big would that be for you?
Yeah, it's huge. Today, you can hear our fans cheering us and getting behind us, and for us, we love this pitch and we play well on it. So yeah, it's something we've spoke about now. Straight after the game, it's about right. Let's focus. Hunslet's our next one. We've got a lot of hard work to do.
Richard, thank you for joining us. We'll let you get into the sheds. Best of luck next week.
Cheers. Thank you.
Well, there we have it. Doncaster go on to play Hunslet for a place in the promotion final. For Oldham to pick themselves back up, and they will take on the North Wales Crusaders at Boundary Park next week. We will have a live game for you again on the Sportsman. We'll confirm which game that will be as soon as possible. We've got a game a week on the playoffs all the way through to that final. Paul Rowley, I'll just leave the final thought to you on that performance from Doncaster.
Yeah, well, it's Doncaster's day, isn't it? I think they'll march into that next round with such confidence, certainly from the nil. Defensively, I thought they were fantastic. Yeah, in terms of the strength of carry and attack, they've learned that it's a very simple game, and this is playoff rugby, just playing tough, little things done well for long periods of time. I thought Doncaster were great.
Well, Doncaster's day, absolutely. Oldham, as we've said, having to pick themselves up off the floor, and the man responsible for doing that is, of course, Mark Ford, who is pitch side with Paul Kidd now.
Mike, thanks for joining us, obviously, after defeat. No doubt disappointment in terms of the result, but you've got the opportunity to go again next week.
Yeah, it's the beauty of the playoffs. If you finish in third or fourth, you do get a second chance, even second as well. So, next week's win or go home. We know now we're playing Crusaders at Boundary Park on Sunday the 10th, so we'll get prepared for that. I mean, I'm going to reflect as a coach the reasons why we were so far off the pace today. I know it wasn't anything to do with all the training on, but maybe the anxiety and the worry of playing in a big game got to the young lads a little bit. So we'll look at that. We'll prepare better in terms of the mental side of it, and hopefully we'll be here talking to you again soon.
Well, you talked there, Mike, about the anxiety and everything else, but the matter of the fact is you're in the playoffs now. You've got today under your belt. Obviously, it wasn't the result or the performance you were looking for, but there's a lot of excitement now once you reflect and get in the mood for next week. You've got a cup tie, win or lose, at Boundary Park next week. Just what have we got to look forward to there?
Yeah, I think, first of all, I didn't mention it. I should have done first thing I said it. Congratulations, Doncaster, because I thought they played very well, near perfect football in that first half to go in 24-0. But next week, like I said, we're at Boundary Park. We've got a full week's preparation in terms of getting out there to the public. It's our second game there, so we're a little bit know how things work. We need a big crowd there. We need support behind us. It's our last home game of the season, so we want to finish, off the season, have a chance to go in that, the week after, which will be a semi-final and then a final. So yeah, we're excited about playing at Boundary Park, but Paul, we can't just use that as the reason. We're going to have to prepare well. We're going to have to prepare better. Like I said, I'll take full responsibility for this game. We're not going to just think we're going to turn up at Boundary Park and win because we're at home. We'll get beat. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it, obviously, but it's win or go home.
Mike, thank you for joining us after today, and the best of luck next week.
Thank you, Paul. Cheers.
So they had a big week for Oldham and Mark Ford to pick themselves back up and go again in next week's playoff game. Thank you for joining us here live on the Sportsman. We'll be back next week with more action from these Betfred League One playoffs. We'll have confirmation of what that game is very shortly, so keep your eyes peeled across social media. Paul Rowley, thank you for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure spending the last few hours here in Doncaster with you. And for the Dons, they go marching on. Hunslet is the task next week for a place in that Betfred League One playoff final. So we'll leave you with the final score, which is Doncaster 36, Oldham 0.
Oh, that's a big one.